second lesson on Au Clair de la Lune from the Suzuki Piano Book 1. Hi, my name is Michelle Sweeny. I am a piano teacher and I am trained in the Suzuki Method. And this is part of a series of Suzuki Piano Lessons where I explain the intent behind each of the songs and what we're supposed to learn as pianists from these pieces in the Suzuki Method. So today we are going to talk about the tricky spot. So the third line of Au Clair de la Lune is the trickiest part because you've got to move both hands to a new place and you're doing something different. So there is definitely a spot that you should call a practice spot, and that is measure 8 to the beginning of measure 9. So this transition in the left hand is something that you'll need to practice a couple of times. I would say 5 times a day until you've mastered it. So we have a series of notes, but what you have to do is you have to switch your fingers on the E. So you start with the third finger on the E, then you go up to the G. While you're on the G, you've got to shift your hand down. So then you have your second finger on the E. What that does is that moves your hand a little farther down, just one step lower, so that you have enough fingers to reach the B that you have in the next measure. So it's a little bit of a shift. So we have 3, 1, 2, 4, 5. So that's a practice spot. At the same time, also part of this practice spot, your right hand will be going from a thumb on C to a pinky finger, 5th finger, on D. So you play 1, 2, and then during this rest, you've got to shift your hand so that then your pinky is ready to play the note that's right next to that. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's what your right hand has to do. So each of those things, those little shifts your hands have to make, individually are not exactly that tricky, but when you do it with your right hand and your left hand moving at the same time, a different distance, it's kind of a lot to take on. So what we do is we start here and we do the first 2 notes. And then we pause. Okay, little practice stop here. You're going to move your pinky to the D, and you're going to move your second finger in your left hand to the E. Now you're ready to continue. Then you play those together. So that is your practice spot. That's the trickiest part of this song. I'm going to do that 5 times a day until it's easy. So that's your first little tricky spot to work on in Au Clair de la Lune. The third line of the song, all 4 of these measures, sounds like this. And there at the end, your right hand needs to move back up to where it was before. So here in this last measure, you've got your thumb on G. On the third beat, you need to move it up to the C. And then you're there for the last line of the song. Okay. So the kind of 2 measures that you really need to practice, like individually and separately, are measure 8 with the last, measure 8 plus like 1 beat of measure 9. And then you need to practice measure 12. So measure 8 is like this, and then measure 12 is like this. So just moving the right hand up and down, shifting the left hand over, those are the things that you'll need to kind of work on individually as practice spots, and then you should be able to play the whole song. So just to wrap up, I'll start at the beginning and play the whole song, Au Clair de la Lune. Happy practice.